you doing? Just keep walking. Hey, brothers and sisters in Christ and people of YouTube. Just me and Grace again today, doing our thing. She gets so excited when we go for walks. What's the worst thing about narcissism and all these gang stalkers? Like, everything they do is behind your back. Yeah, like as an Italian man growing up and having a dad that was really tough, we just call people like that a Mary or a sissy. And this is nothing against gay people. Sissy for us was like someone that had no backbone, someone that was an absolute coward. And this is exactly what narcissists are, and all the flying monkeys. They just sit around a table and gossip about people. And I remember when I first started going out with the narcissist, she started doing this. But because I was sitting at the table, it was just like, oh, maybe she's just letting some steam off after work, like didn't think too much of it. Was a bit naive, But she was only talking about people from work because she didn't want me to hear her talking about me. And the thing is, they do this for years. They do the most vile, wicked curses on you and speaking down on your name, but they don't do it to your face, and even like they try and get so many people against you, man, woman, dog, whatever they can, and even the children they use, but not one of them attacks you, in the face, in the front. They can only do it in the background where you can't see, because that's how afraid they are of you. And like, I'm just one man. I just happen to be a man of God, but they still can't come at me like a man would, or like someone with some balls would, someone of character would. Like, they have to slink behind the backgrounds, like, peeking around at you from every corner and online, and they'll try and take you to court. They'll try and slander you in many ways, but they'll never do it to your face, which says a lot to me, and it shows how afraid they are of you. And like, whenever I do my walks and my rants, I always walk on the same path, so they could easily target me if they wanted to. And I refuse to change just to hide from them. I'm not scared of any of them, and I've got the Spirit of God with me, so who can defeat me? Like, literally, it's been 6 months, right? And they've tried all sorts of schemes, but they never do it in a manly way. It's always in the coward's way, and it's always behind your back. And they'll try and discredit you online, or they'll try and do things in secret. But this is why I was quite surprised a few days ago when I started getting messages actually directly online, which means that she must be getting desperate, because it's never happened before, and it's like trying to break no contact. But I've got no contact with this person, so I'm not going to stop just because they're hiding behind different accounts and trying to triangulate me with their lesbian lover. Like, it's just really sad after 6 months that this person still hasn't tried to move on with their life. But they never do. Once you get away, they're really pissed off because they viewed you as their ATM, and all of a sudden they got no ATM anymore. They got no grace from God, because it says in the Bible, I can't remember which passage, but it was basically that your grace will cover your family if you're a man of God. It's something that Paul says, and it's very true. Like, for all the time I was in their life, they were blessed. They were glowing just like I was, but not as much, because it came from me, and not from me directly. God gave me this grace, and it's for my obedience, for following Him. and then he extended it to them, even though they were wicked people, for my sake, because I considered these people my family. So even though they were wicked, they would have never received grace on their own because of their wicked deeds, but because as an extension of being family, they got grace from me. And what this means is that all the wicked deeds she was doing against me and all her co-workers and people that she tried to put down to receive their position and to receive more power and money off people, and just basically sold her soul for money, she was still covered under God's grace. So when people came after her, she was actually protected against bad things coming back on her. But the thing is, when I left, God left with me. You know, like, he's like, all right, son, I don't want to give grace to someone that's intentionally trying to harm you. You know, like, you'd always been there as their support and loved them, gave them everything, had infinite patience with their child, and just, you know, gave every spare moment you had. Because I remember growing up, I had a stepdad from the age of 2.5, and he became my real dad, because I couldn't remember my real dad as it was, because he died when I was 2. And the thing was, my stepdad was a marvellous man. He took on 5 kids that weren't his, and he'd work like a 60-hour week minimum, and then he'd come home and he'd make sure all of us were in bed, we're all happy. He'd come and have a chat to each of us individually, see how we're going. He was like our best mate, and there's not many stepdads that kids bond with, but not only was he such a good man that it was easy to bond with him, but my mother turned around and said to us after a few years, look, I'd appreciate if you guys started calling him Dad. You know, I'm not ordering you to, but I'd really appreciate it as a sign of respect for Ron that you did this. And for me, that was just a no-brainer. It's like, of course, because he was my dad, you know, like he protected me in so many ways and showed me how to be a real man. And, you know, like, my dad was raised in the rough parts of Fitzroy in Melbourne, and he was in fights every day. He was as tough as nails, and I'd be lucky if I could even live up to how staunch and strong this man was. And I guess just like my old man, I was in fights every day at school, and just, you know, being attacked by people every day. And it was like they just didn't like me because of the, like, good person I was. Just because I was, you know, too truthful, too good. Yeah, it's like God prepares you for everything you're going to go through. I had brothers that I was always fighting with physically, just punching out on all the time, and mates that did martial arts were punching on, and just non-stop violence when when I was a teenager. And, you know, sort of mellowed out after that, and it wasn't actual anything real harmful. We were just tough kids, and we knew, like, our limits, and we didn't seem to have too many. I had a really high pain threshold from having epilepsy as a kid. It was almost like, I don't know, the pills they put me on just like made it like take ages till I felt pain. And yeah, so we used to run amok, and we used to really be into our fitness and go that extra mile. You know, we always like going hard at everything we did, and I think that's why I'm so strong now. And God would have known what I needed to be when He got me to where I needed to be. And one thing I've always hated is speaking, public speaking especially. And I remember doing a a presentation for science in, I think it was year 5, and at this school, like, most of the kids hated me because it was a Christian school, and I used to listen to AC/DC and Guns N' Roses, and they call me the Antichrist, the Devil's Child, AC/DC, and I was doing this presentation, and I worked really hard on it. Like, I never applied myself at school, but I worked really hard on this one, and it was something to do with making tires out of or making rubber out of, like, something out of the tree, I forget, but basically, I was just, my legs were just shaking. I was just so, like, terrified, and I remember everyone just gave me a standing ovation. Even those kids that hated me, they all just got up and just were clapping. Like, they thought, wow, you actually did something really cool, and you did it. Like, they'd always thought really low of me. And it's funny because like, now I'm speaking every day and I'm actually enjoying it, and it's like, I guess the difference is nobody can talk back. See, everything you go through, especially with a narcissist, God can use it for his good and to grow you. And if I hadn't have gone through all these narcissistic people, I wouldn't have grown, I wouldn't have awakened to my purpose and basically become the person I am today, which I'm just loving just being me and God again. Like, because when I was first saved, it was just me and God, and I had one other Christian mate, and we'd both be doing our separate walks with God. We'd both be fasting all the time, and it was a lonely walk because you don't necessarily have a partner or family, but it was also really peaceful and, without noise, and you could just focus on what you had to do. And I remember we needed a place to stay, and neither of us had any money at the time, and neither of us had any work either. And I remember saying to him, God will provide, I'm not worried. And he's like, oh, well, we both need a place in a week or we're on the streets. And I was like, it's fine, mate, it'll happen. And I remember I just got this call out of the blue while we were praying and worshipping from this random temp agency that I'd never heard of before, just saying, oh, look, we've got this job in this steel joint. And I went to this joint and I couldn't even find the place, and when I got in, the boss was just a complete a-hole. He said, oh, mate, next time you come to an interview, be on time. It was like, I was 5 minutes late, and like, I'd rang him and I'd said, mate, I can't find the joint, because it was in between an address, like it was at the back of these other sheds, and I was like, I really can't find this place, and I just spoke back to him. I said, mate, I did come. I came 15 minutes early and I still couldn't find the place. And then I got in there and he was whinging some more, and I remember saying, all right, well, I'm just going to go then. And he made me stay. He was like, nah, we've got an interview here. And he talked me into staying. And then we had a few more problems later down the line, but basically he was raised a Presbyterian, so he actually wanted someone in that was honest and of good character. Even though I stood up for myself, I was like, well, if I'm not going to be treated right, I'm just going to leave. If people don't like me, I'm just going to leave. But he'd always convince me to stay. God always provides for you. He always does. And, like with my narcissist problem, I spent 50 grand of my own money in finishing up her court, because she was not divorced after 8 years, and I could never figure it out. It's like, why would you not be divorced? And then on top of that, then she hadn't finished her child matters after 8 years. I'm like, why are you not finished these? So within a year, I ended up breaking up a $50,000 court bill from her because she was just really lazy with paperwork too. Wanted the lawyer to do everything for her. And she'd always play the game, I don't speak good English, Vietnamese and all. But she'd speak perfect English when she had to do her homework for work and all her certificates she had to do. Suddenly her English was really good, and this is the sort of games they play. Imagine that though, you're slowly watching your finances dwindle away to someone that is just wasting court time. Like they literally, it took them 9 years to finish their court with their first partner, and the whole time you're helping them out, you're taking the calls for the lawyer for them half the time, and they're talking behind your back at tables with their friends. They're having secret rooms. They're speaking the most vile things about you and saying that you're a bad person, you're abusive and most emotionally unstable, and yet they're willing to take your money to get them to where they need to go instead of doing things the right way and actually committing to doing their own paperwork and taking care of business. Like, it doesn't take 9 years to separate from someone, and yet this is the life of the narcissist. Like, they're a tornado. They leave all their crap for someone else to do. Like, I've still got all their crap in my yard that's like, are you going to clean that crap up or what? Like, they literally are just tornadoes. They just blow into town and then they blow out again, and they have no ties to anyone or any place. Like, after a while, once they realise, hey, I can't get any more supply from town, they'll just leave. They'll go to another town and hope that they can get it from there because people don't know them. See, one thing I've learned in the last 6 months from God is that everything He says about us is true. Like, I am the apple of God's eye. He absolutely loves me to death. And if someone like God loves me to death, it's like nobody can move me off my purpose. Nobody can remove me, change my circumstances. They can try all sorts of stuff, but at the end of the day, God's the one orchestrating it. He's the one he'll create a lesson maybe, but at the end of the day, God's going to win. And so I don't really have anything to worry about from these people, and you shouldn't either, because the way the universe works is God's got divine justice, and God's nothing but fair with people. And even if you aren't a Christian yourself or someone that follows God or believes in God, doesn't mean He's not going to work on your behalf, especially if you are a decent person that is just trying to live and be good to people, and you're just inadvertently following the commandments. Like, you're loving thy neighbour without even knowing it. He's gonna work for you too, because He loves all His children, and He just hates the wicked. He hates wickedness and people that do wrongdoing against His children. And basically, if you're going to sit in a room and fester and make up evil schemes against someone, like, you are the lowest of the low, and God's going to come after you. And the thing the narcissist doesn't realise, when you speak curses over a child of God, if you think about doing curses over someone for 4 years, and then every single curse that you sent their way becomes a blessing, imagine how much richer I'm going to be at the end of the day from all your curses. Like, and I'm not even speaking about money here. I'm speaking about looks, possessions, new people I meet, every single thing you've cursed me with is going to come back as a blessing. And that's the funny thing, these people will not stop attacking, but it'll just keep getting transmuted into a blessing, because that's how balance works. Like when someone comes after you and attacks you and does all this wrongdoing and you've done nothing wrong, it comes back as good, and God uses it for good. And it doesn't matter what they do at the end of the day, because if you just keep running your race, like, the problems will solve themselves. Like when I went to court, I didn't even prepare, and nothing happened. I just walked out as if it was just a waste of time. Like, it was a complete stalemate for the narcissist, and they had to pay for a lawyer. They would have spent so much money on this guy because he was a principal of a company. Like, he was the head of the company, so he wouldn't be doing legal aid. And this is how stupid they are. They just think they can just play these games and it's not going to come back and bite them. Like, you can pretend as much as you want, but you know, in politics and in the law world, there's a lot of liars in that world. There's a lot of narcissists too. So they know exactly what this person is, you know what I mean? So yeah, at the end of the day, just go no contact with these people, and they will starve. They will end up leaving you alone because they'll have nothing better to do. Like, the only reason people are coming up against me now is because they're desperate. They don't have anything to talk about in their gossip circle. Like, you know, I was their number one source of fun factor. It's like, let's make fun of Jamie again. We all, that always makes us feel good about ourselves. And that's the sad thing, because I've always been better than these people, and they want to put me down. It's like, have you guys looked in the mirror? You know, what are you doing that's so special in your life? I mean, seriously. And I don't mean to say that to blow my own horn, but these people are just low quality people, and they want to go around putting other people down. It's just really sad. Get some self-esteem, and then you wouldn't have to do that. You know, get some self-respect for yourself. But it's pretty hard to do that when you're sleeping around with people, when you're doing wicked deeds, because your soul knows that what you're doing is wrong. And now I start to realise what God really means. Like, these people just dig themselves their own pit, because you can only run your mouth so long before someone just ends up punching you out, or, you know, just decides they just don't like you because of what you've been saying about someone else. And, you know, I'm very sensitive towards that now. Like, if I hear someone gossiping about someone else, it really ticks me off. And I'm at the point where I'm going to go say something to them and say, look, I don't appreciate you talking about someone that's not here. And whether they like it or not my problem. They got to stop doing it. You know, in a public place, and people just think they can just run their mouth about people. Yeah, and this is what will happen to the narcissists and their friends, because, you know, they can only disguise it for so long, but the truth will come out, and the truth will come out in such a way that it's going to humble them. It's going to really punish them for what they've done. And, you know, this won't necessarily be the end of them, but it'll really make them rethink their life and go, hey, maybe I am a complete and utter a-hole. Like, you know, and that's the thing. Some people hide behind church. They hide behind their Buddha. They hide behind different things to make it seem like they're a good person and that their deeds are fine when they know full well that that's not true. And yeah, it's just it's really sad to see when it happens. But yeah, just don't worry about these people, and they'll literally stop being a problem in your life. Just go no contact. There's no point wanting revenge from someone, like it stunts your growth. And basically what I learned was that these people never valued me in their life, and they were just using me. And users are not people you want in your life. They're not going to help you grow, and they're not going to be able to walk with you. Like if you're a strong character like me, it's like a lot of people cannot follow you where you're going. And wow, it's really interesting trying to hold a phone in one hand and trying to stop the dog from like knocking me over with my other hand. She's all over the place today. Crazy little puppy. Yeah. So just don't sweat these people. Like they're cowards. They hide in the background, and everything they say might be relevant to them. But to me, it's just like having a mosquito like trying to suck your blood. It's like, yeah, they're just a little pest basically. But yeah, they'll eventually go away when you stop giving them oxygen. God bless all of you. Remember, Jesus loves you. I love you, and have a blessed day in Jesus' name.